Maxwell's got it. 28 seconds. Bird, slap pass to Archibald.
Beneath him and probably with a little off balance.
Bird with the steal behind the back to Nate Archibald. Back to Bird.
All right.
In the 1991 playoffs, a rookie showboater dared to challenge Larry Bird. What followed was a clash of skill, courage, and pain that defined a rivalry for the ages.
I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to feel Thursday or Friday. It's just wait and see. It's a game that we're playing right now, and hopefully I'll be prepared to play every game.
As the teams prepared for game one of
And here's where it gets even crazier. Before the playoffs, before the bruises and the headlines, this whole thing started with a single moment. Larry Bird staring down a young Chuck Person and telling him, almost casually, "Go ahead, shoot it." Now, most rookies would shrink under that. They'd panic, hesitate, and lose rhythm. Not Chuck Person. No, he fired right back with the kind of confidence only a young player with something to prove could muster. He told Bird he would shoot it, and he'd make sure Bird remembered it. From that moment, everything between them had an edge. Every screen was harder than it needed to be. Every bump lingered a second too long. Trash talk wasn't just background noise, it was fuel. Their rivalry wasn't friendly, it wasn't respectful. It was raw, loud, and physical. The kind of matchup where you could feel tension in the building before the ball even went up. Fans knew it, teammates felt it, even the refs looked like they were waiting for something to explode. And really, this was the perfect storm, one of the league's most confident rookies trying to climb a mountain and a legendary trash talker already waiting at the top. What would you do if a legend tried to test you like that?
And a half remaining in this first half. Bird had it knocked away by Saddle. Powers on the recovery. Bird is hurt. Bird is down and he's hurt. Here's Williams for Person. And he's fouled, hit hard.
But wait, this next part gets way more intense. Fast forward to the first round of the 1991 playoffs, Celtics versus Pacers. A matchup that never got the massive spotlight, but anyone who watched those games knows. They were brutal. It wasn't just basketball, it felt like a series fought in the trenches. Larry and Chuck didn't just trade baskets, they traded hits, words, and looks that could melt steel. Every possession felt like a tug of war. One second, the Celtics landed a punch. The next, the Pacers answered with a three in someone's face. There were moments where both teams literally bumped their way down the floor. Nothing pretty, nothing smooth, just raw Eastern Conference playoff energy. The kind that made every trip to the paint feel like stepping into a fight. Bird's fans were screaming with every shot he hit. Pacers fans were waiting for Person to silence the building again. The crowd wasn't watching a game. They were watching a rivalry grow teeth. And the wildest part? This was just the beginning. Imagine being in that arena, hearing the trash talk echo across the court, watching two players who refused, absolutely refused, to back down. Because once the physicality started, neither side wanted to blink first. And here's where Chuck Person really starts poking the bear. Once the series got rolling, Person didn't just talk, he backed it up with the kind of swagger that made crowds gasp and teammates grin like they knew he was playing with fire. He went right at Bird, bumping him off spots, using that strong right arm to carve out space, and then sticking jumpers with a little extra attitude on the release. And those trees, man, he hit them loud. The kind of shots that feel like a punch because he'd stare Bird down on the way back, soaking in every ounce of energy from the Indiana crowd. Whenever Bird was sidelined or limping, Person pounced. He pushed the Pacers in front. He fed off the silence in Boston and the chaos in Indiana. For a moment, even if brief, it looked like the showboater might actually steal the spotlight from the legend.
Left corner, down low for Bird with position. He fakes it and shoots it good. Bird have had great games against each other this year. DJ in the lane, Bird the fall away is good.
Great touch.
McHale, the number one team, is reunited. Dennis Johnson misses a shot, rebound Bird. Bird on the baseline, great pass. Oh, what a pass. Larry Bird to McHale. Livingston, Dennis Johnson, front court. DJ up top, off the pick comes Bird for the bob. Got it again. In front court, posted up high is Parrish. Off to Bird for the open 20-footer. It's good. Johnson comes across. DJ.
But here's the part nobody truly understood from the outside. Larry Bird stepped into that series already carrying a body that was breaking down. His lower back wasn't just sore, it was a daily fight. The kind of pain that makes normal life difficult, let alone playoff basketball. He'd missed the final 7 games of the regular season, hoping the rest would calm the pain long enough for one more postseason and run, but the truth, nobody, including Bird, knew if he'd even be able to stand upright from day to day. Doctors kept him in traction at the hospital. He'd struggle to put on pants before games. Teammates looked at him and saw someone fighting his own body more than any opponent. Yet he showed up. He didn't want an injury dictating his legacy, and every time he walked into the arena, fans wondered, how long can he keep this up? But this is the part that still blows people away. Even with all that pain stacked against him, Bird suited up and played the first half like a man trying to squeeze every ounce of basketball left in his body. You could see it on his face. Every step hurt, every jump looked forced, but the crowd didn't care. They roared every time he touched the ball because somehow, through sheer will, he still found ways to deliver. Then came the fall, one of the nastiest, hardest crashes you'll ever hear. His face smashed the parquet so violently that the entire arena froze. Bird was knocked out for a moment and left the game with a concussion and a fractured bone in his face. Any other players, that's the night, that's the series. But Larry Bird wasn't built like the rest. Before long, the building would see something they'd never forget. And this is where the whole series tilts for a moment. Now, when Bird went down and disappeared into the tunnel, you could feel the shift instantly. The Pacers smelled blood. The body language changed, the pace changed, and even the way they attacked the rim had a new kind of hunger. Indiana knew this might be their only window to steal control, and they went after it like a team that understood the moment. Chuck Person, of course, was the loudest spark. He came out firing. Deep threes, quick post-ups, those little stare-down jumpers he loved. Every shot he hit felt like it carried a message. This is our time now. For the first time in the game, Indiana grabbed real momentum. Boston looked lost without their anchor. Plays broke down. Defensive rotations were late. The energy in the Garden dipped into that uneasy silence fans hate. And just when it looked like the Pacers were finally flipping the script, something wild happened.
Then all of a sudden, here comes Larry. The Garden erupted. The savior was back.
Because this next part feels like something out of a movie. Out of nowhere, the crowd shifted, this low rumble turning into a roar. People started standing, pointing toward the tunnel, and then walking into the light as he just stepped out of a different reality. Came Larry Bird. My face is swollen, eyes unfocused. My body is stiff and hurting, but somehow absolutely locked in. The moment he checked back in, you could feel the entire atmosphere snap back into place. The Celtics went from trailing by 3 to leading by 13 in what felt like seconds. Bird didn't ease in. He took over the game the moment he touched the floor. He grabbed boards in traffic like he hadn't just been knocked unconscious. He threaded passes right over Reggie Miller's outstretched arms, hitting cutters perfectly in stride. He drove to the rim, absorbing hits that made the crowd wince, laying the ball in with that slow, controlled touch only Bird could get away with. Every play he made felt bigger than basketball. It was heart, it was tough. It was Larry Bird telling the world, "You're not taking this from me." And for a few minutes, you could feel the entire Boston Garden breathing in unison, watching a legend refuse to let pain write the ending.
Max looking, loops it to Bird, a runner. It's good! It's good! And the Celtics win it! Bird hits and the Celtics win it! 103 to 101, a three-pointer by Larry Bird at the buzzer.
Unreal, baby.
Oh, my!
Unbelievable.
Larry Bird's performance in this game wasn't just about scoring or making plays. It was a masterclass in mental toughness and leadership. Even as his body was breaking down under pain, Bird refused to sit back and let the Celtics fade. Unlike today's era of load management, where stars carefully guard their bodies, Bird operated on a simple rule. If he could stand, he could compete. Every time he pushed through pain, it lifted the entire team, changing their energy, pace, and confidence. He didn't need speeches or motivational talks. His grit and determination spoke louder than words. Diving for loose balls, directing a fence with a grimace on his face, and refusing to yield, Bird showed that true greatness comes not just from skill, but from heart and resilience. This matchup also produced some of the most unforgettable moments in Celtics Pacers history. Bird, battered and barely able to move, took over the game at every crucial moment. His return from injury mid-game was cinematic, hitting mid-range jumpers, threading passes through defenders, and grabbing pivotal rebounds. Chuck Person matched him with showboating, three-pointers, and trash talk, creating a fiery battle that electrified the crowd. Yet Bird's grit and determination defined the night, turning the Celtics' struggles into a legendary victory remembered decades later.
Left corner, down low for Bird with position. He fakes it and shoots it good. Bird have had great games against each other this year. DJ in the lane, Bird the fall away is good.
Great touch.
McHale, the #1 team, is reunited. Dennis Johnson misses a shot, rebound Bird. Bird on the baseline, great pass. Oh, what a pass.
Great.
Larry Bird to McHale. Livingston, Dennis Johnson, front court. DJ up top, off the pick comes Bird for the bomb. Got it again. In front court, posted up high is Parrish. Off to Bird for the open 20-footer. It's good. Johnson comes across.
The Celtics closed out the series 4-1, but the score barely tells the story. Larry Bird, battling back pain and relentless physical play, delivered when it mattered most. Even Chuck Person praised him afterwards. Their fierce rivalry carried genuine respect, showing fans and players what true toughness looks like. Leadership wasn't flashy. It was Bird dragging his hurting body onto the court, inspiring his team. Decades later, this series remains a legendary example of courage, grit, and pure willpower in NBA history. Larry Bird showed the world what it means to play through pain, lead with heart, and silence arrogant challengers. Which Bird moment blew your mind? Comment below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more epic NBA stories like this.